How's it going, everyone? I'm VenomousStare. Today we have Terran versus Zerg, and two great players are going to be facing off today. We have Losira, who's going for a pool first build, and it appears as though a quick third hatchery. He's of course taken his natural already. And his opponent, Innovation, a Terran player known for his incredible macro play, and a guy who has held down the fort in Korea for a very long time. He's captured multiple GSL titles, made it very far in the final WCS of 2013. This guy is to be feared, he is exceptional, and he's adding a second barracks. So to me, along with this expand and the Reaper, is indicative of that drop build with the two medevacs in the stim pack that's been getting a lot of popularity. Innovation, he's going to make the reactor and complete his wall in, so all signs point to that drop build so far. In Camp Losira, he has of course taken a quick third and squeezed out a couple early lings. Now this is a little bit wonky since Losira went pool first. He can squeeze out a couple slow lings at a time when Innovation isn't expecting it and harass this building base down here. Now this is awkward for Innovation because he's already sent his Reaper halfway across the map. He's made an add-on with his barracks. He hasn't made a second Reaper or made a safety marine or anything like that. But because Innovation is intelligent and walled off, which every Terran player should be doing versus Zerg if you're new to the game, he was able to keep the Zergling out of his base, prevent scouting information, and really limit the damage done to delaying that natural just a little bit. And if we look at his base, perfect saturation in the man. He started stim, the factory's almost done. He's going to kill an Overlord. And that's pretty bad because Losira did not want to lose that Overlord. Perhaps he thought that if he made those lings he could sneak it in, or it could get to the safe space. But Innovation did not want any of that. He denied the scouting with the wall in, and then denied the potential scouting by killing the Overlord. Why am I bringing this up? Because if we look at Losira's vision, very limited. Very, very limited. It's going to be hard for Losira to know exactly what Innovation is going to do. Now, Losira is a capable macro player. We can see he's barely mining any gas at all. He wants to focus on that mineral income. My guess here is he's going to want to dump out as many drones as he can and then rely on queens and lings to defend. That's a very popular style we're seeing right now amongst Korean Zergs, where they really limit the amount of gas that they take in. We can see Losira not only is mining with just one geyser, but he's mining with one measly drone getting gas. That means that obviously he's not going to be making anything that requires gas in any sort of volume. This also means that he's researching ling speed, and he's not going to have a Bane nest or upgrades coming anytime soon. This absurd amount of mineral income gives him the advantage of being able to make tons of lings, queens, and drones, but he is forsaking other things like upgrades, like tech, lair tech, evo chambers, basically everything. But that first Baneling nest does come down, and he has started mining with 3 drones again. But if we look at his drone saturation, it's exceptional. He has 45 workers. But this double drop is going to come, and Innovation stim is about to finish. Notice, like Jockji in the previous games casted on my channel, he has made an eBay and has started +1 attack. 5 queens are going to try to defend here. 5 queens is a lot because they do build up transfuse energy and they have a lot of range when it comes to anti-air, and Innovation almost loses a medevac. Losira displayed excellent defense there, using all of that mineral income that he established early on in the game to build up a little defensive force. And I just want to point out that even those 2 drones and gas was a big deal because that allowed him to get this sharp increase in mineral income, and now he has a ton of workers, and Innovation is constantly going to be dropping, poking, and prodding, and obviously some workers are inevitably going to go down. We might see the first ones here, and it might just actually be a spore, in fact, as Innovation just obliterates the spore. Lots of DPS you can see from these Marines. And a transfuse goes down, and lings and queens are going to try to pick off this medevac Marine combo. And it's going to be a pretty damn good trade because Losira doesn't really lose anything important. If we go to units lost, Innovation's behind. If we go to income, Losira didn't really lose that many workers, and to confirm, just the one worker. And he's going to retake his creep spread out here. This is another intelligent thing newbie Zerg players should try to emulate. If your creep spread dies and Terran is pressuring you, you can use your creep queens that you've made to lay tumors on the dissipating creep spread even after the vision is gone. This basically means that, yeah, you might not have the vision from the creep, but the fact that it's still on the map means that you can put more tumors down and eliminates you having to put a tumor up here, let it cover this area, and then start respreading. You always want to spread creep forward as aggressively as possible. That might sound obvious to some, but you really do want to get it surging out, because if he had just laid the tumors here, it would have taken multiple 30-second spans for the tumors to recharge to get creep going up to this 4th, and I guarantee Innovation's going to be pressuring this at some point. Innovation is making a 3rd base of his own. 1-1 has started for Losira as well as Baneling speed. He has excellent saturation. He has a Spire and a Macro Hatch coming up, and he's starting to harass Innovation's 3rd a little bit. So Losira has displayed excellent macro all game, and he's keeping up with the incredible Terran Innovation. Here we see a little bit of aggression mid-map, but Innovation, he's not the kind of guy to take stupid engagements. In fact, his decision making is probably the best part of his game. He's going to not lose much at all and then fly right over to the 4th, the critical base that Losira needs to stay in this game. And without Baneling speed being done, ooh, filthy focus fire there from Innovation. As like I said, without Baneling speed being done, forget about it. Innovation can just easily focus fire. Slow Banelings are god-awful versus good players. And this valuable creep spread is not up to this 4th base yet, and that means that it's screwed. Remember earlier on when I was prattling on about creep spread? Notice that even with those brilliant tumors, it didn't matter. And a few Marines go down, but boom, Widow Mines are going to take shots at the Ling Bane. And this is what I was talking about. He really needed creep spread down up to this bottom ramp, did Losira. Because to fight against someone with micro as crisp as Innovation, you have to have great creep spread. You have to be able to surround their army and get a crushing advantage. And whenever creep is only up to here, you can't fully surround the army, especially with medevacs. And Innovation is going to use that one advantage he took to create more advantages. He's going to clear creep. Innovation is not the kind of guy to ever give a Zerg player a moment of respite. He's constantly attacking, constantly aggressing, and constantly adding more production facilities. This is the kind of guy that if you're a Terran, you should aim to emulate. He plays the matchup correctly, and he plays it very well. +2 attack is being researched for Losira, but due to the onslaught of aggression, he's not able to start his +2 Carapace, which of course costs a ton of minerals. Little bit of Baneling drop action. This could be huge because Losira is doing this right when aggression's going on. We're looking at this, keeping an eye on the mini-map, and Innovation's pressuring forward, but the Baneling drops comes down. They kill a dozen workers, and suddenly Losira is having to do some defense of his own. He has some mutas. He's making 30 Lings right now, and if we go to units, he has 37 Lings. That's really not a whole lot when you consider how good these Korean macro Zergs are. And he's going to need a lot to deal with this, but with Widow Mines it's going to be difficult. Innovation, because of that Baneling drop, doesn't have the SCV counts he wants to. Normally Innovation would just love to obliterate his opponent with a parade push, but now he has to kind of be concerned about lack of mineral income. But without creep spread extending all the way down because of Innovation killing it, Losira is going to be hard-pressed to deal with this, and this critical base dies, and it is the 4th base because the earlier 4th base has not been rebuilt due to this Widow Mine, and a little bit of Ling counterattack action is going to occur. I'm actually going to rewind a bit because 2 critical things happened at once. So we can see that this base is dead to rights. The reason this is, Innovation's cleared out all the creep spread, look at that, down to the last tumor, and he's laid a minefield. He hasn't idiotically stacked a bunch of mines up front. He's laid a minefield down in his retreat path, so Innovation can constantly pressure this forward little area, but then be able to retreat due to these Widow Mines. And the reason these Widow Mines are so good is not only the spread, but the creep spread that he killed means that Losira can never really truly crush the army. And of course we had the Bane drop, but Losira knows that he can engage off of creep into mines, so he's just going to counterattack. and this counterattack shouldn't do a whole lot versus Innovation. He kind of knows it's coming, and look at that. He has units waiting at the top of his natural ramp, burrows mines, and the Lings don't get in at all. There's no damage at all going to be done as far as the natural goes, but he can run up into the third base and kill some workers. And Innovation's multitasking being tasked, so a dozen more workers die, 24 total. But Innovation has stifled that, and he's going to start pushing down into Losira. Pretty gross splits there from Innovation, ripping apart Losira, and suddenly Innovation can just reallocate some workers at the third and drop mules. It doesn't really matter, whereas Losira is now even in bases with the Terrans, a position you never ever want to be in as Zerg, and Innovation's going to drop onto the low ground and start to pressure Losira with the constant, never-ending stream of aggression that we know Innovation for. And Losira's tried to counterattack the third and do some damage. That's often a good move versus Terran players who are aggressive. But this is what separates Innovation from other Terrans, as he just does not bend or break when it comes to defense and good macro management. Really just losing workers there with that counterattack, and Losira brought almost his whole army, even the mutas. He just left the token force of Banes, which obviously wasn't enough. And if we look at the bases here, Losira still has not taken this fourth. Innovation is pressuring Losira, but Losira is in a bad position. He's trying to take this fourth base, but Innovation is always in his face. Losira would really want to try to tech up here and do higher tech units, maybe Infestors to keep Innovation in one place, or Ultralists to combat the firepower of Innovation's micro, but he can't do any of that. Innovation's always in his face. He's always sitting on his chest, making his life a living hell. And Losira's fourth base is about halfway done. He's trying to start creep spread out again. Remember, he had it all the way out here and Innovation killed it. But a fourth base is going to be established now. In reality, this is just the main base floated over, but Losira is pretty screwed either way, to be honest. He's trying to double expand. He's trying to harass with mutas. Really, nothing he's been trying to do has worked for the past 5 minutes, and that's just the nature of playing Innovation. Innovation is going to surge ahead in supply here. As he started his 3-3, he's making mass marine, and Losira is in a very tricky situation. A turret is going to come up a little bit late here for Innovation, but he has marines in the correct place already, so Losira is not going to actually have any luck there either. Wow. He's going to fly into the main and mercifully see that that base is actually a floated base. Perhaps he can deduce that, perhaps he thinks that Innovation has flown his main down here and made another base. Who knows when you're playing Innovation, right? But Losira is going to try to harass in the main. His mutas are kind of trapped in a spot where there's a turret, and Innovation once again is going to clear out the creep spread and split back. Losira has an insane amount of banelings, but that Widow Mine gets a, well, I mean 0 kills, but it still went off, right guys? That's Innovation at this point really can just rally at Losira, because without a solid creep spread established, and even though he has the space over here, Innovation's macro is just going to crush Losira. Innovation's maxed again. Boom, look how many units Innovation has. Just an unorthodox amount of Marines. 62, a ludicrous number. This is what's so tough about playing Innovation. He makes units, and makes units, and makes units. Look at that split! Oh my god! All of his Marines just went into like 12 different groups instantaneously. Really showing off there, and that's something you want to emulate as Terran. If you know you're going to be engaged upon, preemptively split your workers, or your units, don't wait. And once again, Speedbane's off creep really suck. So Innovation displayed excellent micro down here in splitting. Losira said, that's just so crazy, I can't even engage into it. I'll just attack up north. And Innovation was not having any of it. He defended that too. Innovation puts on a TBZ clinic of upgrading, defense, and aggression. This dude's a monster, and this is a best of 3. You do not want to miss the subsequent games. You want to subscribe to this channel for more.